Okay, so just so you know, this is a daily Scrum that we have on weekdays, and it's kind of a Scrum of Scrums, if you will, because we talk about multiple projects that people might be working on. Also, have you been involved with Agile Ventures long, or been associated with any project yet?
I'm only associated with the project I have for my class here at Binghamton University.
Oh, I see. And part of the class is they want you to attend a live Scrum?
Yes.
Yep. I've seen that before from Rochester, yeah. Okay, great. Glad to accommodate. So, Sam, you were first online. Do you want to go first?
Sure, yes. So what I've just been doing is updating these proposals for, this is the NHS, that's the UK, the National Health Service, wiki. There's a small grant available. I managed to speak to the person who's doing it the other day, and I don't know what chance we've got of getting it particularly, but I've had great feedback from Rachel, from Volunteer Dr. Harrow, from Lara, from Pat. So I've just finished updating that. New version of that has gone into the NHS wiki channel there. If you're interested, anybody's interested in looking at that. Yeah, so I'm hoping that that's going to go out. Yeah, we had a new premium face-to-face member signed up. It's very pleasing. We've got new sponsorships coming in yesterday, so that's all good stuff. Yeah, main things going on today: the website one kickoff meeting, the order graders client meeting. I don't think I have any blocks except wanting to do more coding. Really, yeah, that's I think me today.
Okay, great. Lots of stuff going on. I'll see if I can get some endorsements coming in, as I mentioned on the Slack channel, and let you know as they happen. Also, we're familiar with NHS here. We've seen every episode of Call the Midwife, so we're experts on NHS here in the US.
Good to know. I'll add that to the presentation.
Yeah, that'll help us with the proposal. No doubt about it. Hi, Laura. Do you want to go next?
Hey, yeah, sure. So from my side, I've taken on a new feature in MedPlus for testing. Last night, I worked a bit on the Ruby Calculus Challenge, which, after doing a lot of research, I think might be a bit too much for me. I was good at algebra, but not trigonometry. So I might bow out of this one gracefully, but I think what I'm going to put forward is just to ask if anybody does do it, if I can just pair program with them while they're doing it, just so I can understand. This morning, I have just been sorting out passports and just back at my desk. So for this weekend, I will be working on Alexa, carrying on in the Udemy course, getting ready for next week's mobbing session, and also working on the MedPlus test passing.
Okay,
That's
great.
it from me, and I have no blockers.
Sounds good. Just so you know, that Arun's story on the redesign of the job properties page for the admin just got merged this morning.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm going to let Paul know. Sorry, Laura?
I said I'll pull it down.
Okay, great. I'll let Paul know because he can use the styling that was developed by Arun for his other admin page he's working on. So that's great. Great to see progress on that. Michael, hi. Do you want to give your update?
Yeah, so I took pull requests in yesterday for the deadline. Yeah.
You're sounding very quiet there, Michael.
You faded a bit, Michael? Oh, okay. I guess that was the gist of it anyway, huh? Or just, depending upon how you like to say that word. Okay, thanks, Michael. For myself, what did I do? I did pair program with Arun yesterday, which means we slacked back and forth on his story. He was having some problems getting tests to pass. I think he got past that. We merged his PR this morning. For the Swedish dog industry project, SHF, I looked at inline editors. We got to do some inline editing so they can create documents. And I'm going to start the story to actually implement that. We have a team meeting today as well in my afternoon with Ashley and Suzanne and anybody else who wants to join. So those are always lively and fun if you have time to plug into that. On Wiki, Ed, again, a good Scrum yesterday with Sage, and Tong Wei has taken a story as well, which I'm happy to see. So she's in Singapore, so we actually meet Monday through Thursday on that. Our Scrums are at, it would be 2 a.m. her time in Singapore, so she's never going to join that Scrum, but that's okay, because I can connect with her on these kind of time zones. And that's pretty much it for me in terms of what I'm going to do and what I've done. Laura, maybe I'll take a look this weekend at that maths issue, that maths problem. See if I can make head or tail of it. I assume one has to pull the entire GitHub repo down and stand up that particular feature branch first. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks interesting. But anyway, all right. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not done with Scrum. So, Joseph, what's happening? Are you at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology? Is that where you were?
No,
Or
Binghamton University.
Bingham. Oh, yeah. You guys are pretty active on the AV site sometimes, sure, as well.
Yes.
I see projects get spawned there. So, want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What course are you taking and what are you studying?
Well, it's the software engineering course. So I'm taking a master's of science in computer science, and for my stand-up for the Scrum, we've been working on just setting up our project. We first got our index page created, and soon enough we're going to be creating our events details page. If you look up, it's called Binghamton University Meal Share. So the idea is that people can come together and create an event that allows them to quickly assign like ingredients and things like that to create kind of a co-op or hodgepodge or potluck, whatever it might be, to their needs. Where that's the start of it, but adding more features such as location or figuring out the best route or what have you. So that's pretty much what we're doing for our project. And like I said, you can see it on Binghamton University food share, the meal share, I mean.
Meal share. Okay, great. That sounds really interesting. That's an interesting project because, like you said, you could start with just throwing together an ad hoc group meal, but then you could add all those other features almost endlessly. Cool. And what technology are you guys using for that?
We're using Ruby on Rails.
Rails. Okay. Great. Cool.
One other thing we needed to do for this getting in this Scrum was participate in a vote as well. I wasn't sure if you guys normally have those during each Scrum meeting or not, because I imagine it's normally only during during each iteration change.
Well, once in a while we do have vote on this Scrum. Sam, do you have anything lined up? Maybe on website one?
Yeah, Joseph spoke to me before, and I said, just pop into any Scrum. We can always rustle up a vote. It's never a problem. I guess for additional background, so it's Rose who runs the course at SUNY Binghamton, and she uses a clone of the main MOOC, and so the students run through that MOOC Ruby on Rails whole thing, and then they also do projects. And so this is so we've had students go there. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the place that we might go for a vote is for the local support project. Just some other general. We managed to have a Redeemify catch up yesterday and get some things merged. We're going to be having Redeemify Scrums going forwards on Tuesdays, and local support, and they're going to be on Mondays. I've got the board here for local support, and I'm just thinking about what have we got here? Actually, probably we've got this one item here, which is about which sort of came up as we're looking for. I think it's a relatively simple ticket and probably reasonable for the voting process. But I'll just paste that in here. So this is all for the. Let's pull that out there and start another row of tabs. So this is for the Harrow Community Network site, which some of you will of course be familiar with, and we're in the process of adjusting it so that the instead of the landing page being the organizations listing, it's going to be the volunteers listing is going to be the central focus of the site. This is sort of pivoting the site so that the focus is on volunteering and making people aware of volunteering, and then the directory of the organizations becomes sort of a secondary thing. So that change has already been done by one of our sponsored members, and so that's in there. That's actually out. I believe I've got it actually. Well, I'll develop. Let's see if we can find it. Just giving you the background here, and what we that it all works. What we've noticed, and I've put into this ticket, is that I think we need some more adjustments. Like if this is going to be the landing page, we have this issue here that this text here that sort of highlights this. And actually, this is particularly, it's great that you're here, Lara. So we added this on your recommendation to improve the SEO. Did we not?
Yes.
Yes. And you said it's very important to have the actual name of the site.
Yeah. Or H1 header tag. Yeah.
Yeah, in there. Let's go on there. So of course now the issue is we've got it, I think, set up here. So it lands directly on volunteers. If this is going to be the landing page, we're missing having this Harrow Community Network actually on there. So I imagine your recommendation, Lara, would be if we're switching to the volunteers being the homepage, then we should probably have Harrow Community Network appearing on this page, right?
Yeah, we should. Or we can, I mean, maybe we can just make the H1s a bit smaller and just have the Harrow Volunteers Community Network.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we don't need to change the name so much. I think it still continues to be the Harrow Community Network, and it's just that within the Harrow Community Network, the focus becomes the list of volunteering opportunities rather than the list of organizations. We've then also got this. There was a point that came up from at the moment, the text that we have here. This description actually describes our client. That's the Voluntary Action Harrow Cooperative. So this text needs updating. That's sort of a related chunk. But basically, before we can kind of push this out live, we kind of need, I guess we need to move this set of text really from the organizations page to the volunteers page. Lara, from your point of view, is it important to have the title of the site in a header tag on every page, or just the landing page that's particularly important?
It's actually supposed to be on every page. So
okay.
An H1 or H2 is most important on every page.
Right.
Right. And a bit of text.
Okay.
A bit of intro text that's kind of related. Got a keyword that's in your title tag, your H1 tag, and in your, Right.
Oh, well, that makes me change the story. I was sort of thinking about moving it from there to another. So we've got that's great. So Lara suggests that we have the main title tag and description on every page where possible. For this, let's go to at least having on both orgs and volops pages. So I'm gonna suggest that this ticket, I guess I should also, am I logged in here? I should be able to edit this, can't I? Yes. So this is kind of as the site client, so that we can appear high in the Google search rankings, and people arriving at the site understand what it is. I would like the title and description on every page. Everybody, or at least the main ones. Everybody happy with this ticket and what it involved? Any ambiguity?
Just a question. So on the existing landing page, we have a search form for it looks like for organizations. Do we need an equivalent one for volunteers on the new landing page?
That's a good question. And this is a thing from our Agile Book Club, as opposed to just on org's page. There we go. Now got our feature story updated. Let's just close that. That's in there. We've got the story. Yes. Now the thing here is that so the organizations have these categories that come from the government database that we've extracted them from. The volunteer things themselves are there. We've got like our own ones, and they don't particularly have categories, and we're also pulling them out of the Do It directory and others. So we don't. We have a text only search form at the moment.
And that search is on volunteers. That text.
Yeah, this search here is on volunteers. Yes.
Okay, so that's as good as you can get with searching then.
At the moment, I mean, we may be able to. I mean, there's more sophisticated things one could do with. We could be like attaching the categories that for the parent organization to the volunteer opportunity and do that as well. But I think that's probably a separate feature.
I just didn't know if volunteers have specific skills they want to employ in their volunteer activity or whatever. But it sounds like it's a little loose.
Well, I think that the interesting thing is that they do. I mean, if we click through here to this is Do It, which is the national volunteer opportunity database that we're going through. That when you, in order to file your volunteer opportunity on this system, they've got like a really specific set of categories. It's actually quite, there's like you've got to do all this work to specify your volunteer opportunity. And you can go swings and roundabouts about how many barriers do you want to put in the way before people to just get their data up there, and so on and so forth. But potentially, because what Marowen is working on is the ability for us that when people put their volunteer opportunities into this site, they will automatically be distributed to the national site as well. And so I think that's all coming potentially, but probably out of scope for this ticket at the moment. I would say probably what we'll be looking at is just making sure that this with maybe some slight tweaks to the text appears consistently on this page. It would just appear above the search text. So any other questions on this ticket, or are we ready for a little vote?
One last question. I assume there's a test or two that has to be modified with this change.
There may be. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of a given. Yeah. But they should be. We've got tests for the presence of these things. We've got like a whole SEO feature that tests for the presence on this page. So it's not going to be a sophisticated new kind of testing that we haven't done before.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm tempted. I don't know if Joe, obviously you're in the Slack. Actually, obviously you've joined local support. I might just use our new voting system, if it will work there, for us to vote on the system there. And this actually does make it quite a lot easier. There's none of this forgetting with it. So if you navigate to the local support channel there, Joe, which I think you're in, you should see this interface where you can click on one of these options, whether it's going to be simple, medium, or hard to do this thing. I'll just take away to do my own vote. Also, Lara and Pat, if you want to navigate your way there.
Okay.
And but you're not in the local.
No,
yeah.
not on that.
I can just pull you in there, Pat.
Okay, now I am.
Yep.
Thanks.
You're in there now.
Yep.
And so we've got and Laura, I think you're in that channel. So we've got votes from Michael, myself, and Patrick. Got one from Lara. Joe, are you having trouble accessing the Slack environment?
No, I should be able to. I see your simple, medium, hard buttons here.
Yeah, so if you just click one of those, whichever you think is appropriate for this ticket.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah. There we go. And we have 5, so we can reveal. And it's checking, do I really want to reveal all the votes? I do. And so we've all gone for a simple, with the exception of Lara and our policy, which is perhaps the wrong policy. Maybe we should switch it around. But whoever's kind of out on their own, we sort of pick on them. Sorry, Lara. Lara, yeah. Do you want to tell us your thoughts? Why were you thinking medium rather than simple?
Because I think it was about the testing, even though you just said there are tests in there. You still need to update them. And I think also Patrick's comment on the search I think sounded a bit, about removing it off the front page. But anyway, I'm happy to go to a 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's partly the work this half the work's already been done for us, which is that we already have the pull request in, which means that when you land on the homepage, it defaults onto volunteers. So there's no particular change that's actually needed to the search text itself. And I'm pretty confident that it's one of those things where, of course, the more confident one feels about testing, the more challenging it can seem. But I think if you're willing to go for the simple, let's set that as a 1, and then we can, of course, move on with the other things, and that becomes there on the backlog, ready for somebody to work on. So, Joe, I hope you've got all the things that you need to sort of report back to Rose and so on. Probably those things include maybe the link to the ticket, which
Yes.
I can drop. Go on.
And I do have that. You sent it earlier. The only thing I think I need is a link to this video, which I wasn't sure if Agile Ventures, the event that I clicked on to get here, would have it, or because I was looking in the Google chat, and usually just in the bottom right, I thought is a button to see the link, but
there is usually only the host of the Hangout. So I think out of all of us, only Pat will have that little set of links thing that you can click on and open up the link to the URL for this. And
thank you, Pat.
So
you see that there in the chat, Joseph? Can you grab that? Because it goes away when the Hangout goes away, of course. So.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll post that into the general channel. We've got another one of these here, Pat, where it's supposed to automatically post the YouTube link into the general channel, but for some reason, intermittently with Pat's Hangouts, they do and don't post, and we don't understand why. There we go. That's anyway. It'll continue to be in the general chat if you need it, Joe. So there we go. I think we're Scrum. How are we doing, Pat?
Good. Everything. Oh, just one last thing. I had a question about the homepage for Agile Ventures.
Oh yeah.
The Scrum ended a long time ago, of course. But why did the front page revert back to the old wording? I thought we had some alternative wording going on there. Or did I miss something?
We did. Let me go through that. We basically brought up in the market. So what was it on the last Friday? I got it to the point where we were on the site having a view. Can I see if I can? I've been blogging about it, but there was 3 changes potentially ready to go live. One of them was a slight change to the wording here. The other one was this one here that want to learn more, so it's less threatening. And another one was the changing of from these circles into that sort of blob of text. And I was having a little bit of kind of thinking, like, with all the different changes, that it was looking a little odd. And before taking it live, I posted into the website 1 channel on the Friday, and that kicked off a big discussion with particularly strong input from Federico, among others. I wonder if I can scroll back. So here we go. This was what it was going to be there. Yeah. And Federico brought up some concerns with this and about whether the kind of the final view of that had been brought to the marketing team. Now, obviously, Lara had seen it. So when I woke up on Monday and went through these things, we took this in and had a discussion in the marketing meeting on Monday about this. And I think the particular things that we talked about doing were reducing the font size a bit further, adding some more white space around the end, and a couple of, so there was sort of like a sort of a slew of additional changes that we talked about making before going to this. And rather than hold off and just not make any of the changes, I made the decision to let's go with the 2 uncontroversial changes and push them straight out, and hold back the other one until we can get like a series of alternatives. And in my mind, what I then did is I got set up with this InVision thing as a sort of, I don't know if you saw my links to that, but my plan is to try and get more feedback on the range of different front page experiences that we could have. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I've got this thing here. Anyway, which is interesting because it allows you to now like click through different pages, and so this is like a mock-up of the site, but like done WYSIWYG style.
Okay, cool.
More information than you necessarily want. The other thing that did impact my thoughts on it is that we see that we are actually getting sort of a non-trivial amount of click-throughs on Learn and Code.
Yeah, that's great.
So I kind of I ended up equivocating and thinking maybe we should spend some time changing the existing text. Anyway, yeah, but that's where we are.
Yeah, so it makes sense to go a little methodically and carefully. It's just, I think the blue get started how to begin coding again, to me, still doesn't convey to me why. What's the value proposition for me to code? I got a million sites I can go to code.
Right.
I don't even know what that means. Does that mean I go through a tutorial online, like a lot of sites, or do I get involved in the process? So, and I think the prior thing was very wordy to everybody's point of view. It's a long paragraph, takes a long time to read. Absolutely. But again, I still look at the front page and I would say, why? Why do I want to get involved with these guys? What's
totally.
It's missing. Coding? So what? Anyway, we'll find our way.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think we are in a. I totally agree with you. We need some better way of communicating what the value offering is. I mean, we're getting people clicking through, but it might well be for the wrong reasons. The thing I focused on this week is that when people do click through and they do sign up, which they're doing, they then get returned to this homepage where again it's not very clear what they're supposed to do next. And so the change I'm hoping to get out later today is this: that when they do sign up, that they'll land on the getting started page. But yeah, I think we need to. I definitely hear what you're saying, Michael and Joseph, particularly Joseph, because you will have encountered Badger Adventures. Any thoughts on the things we're discussing now?
No, not at this time. No, I have only minimal amount of work in the Agile Adventures itself, so I'm not really too sure exactly how much better we could improve it.
Well, let me ask you a question, Joseph, because I think your input would be really important. So you learn a lot of stuff in the classroom, book learning, as we say, about how to do software. But do you find that working on a real project like you're doing now exposes you to so much more learning opportunities and also shows you the things that you thought you knew, but you really didn't yet until you start executing them?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to convey here, that it goes beyond what you learn in the classroom. Get involved with a real project, real voting, real discussion, real scrums, as well as real challenging technical issues. That's the value proposition for Agile Ventures. So that's what we're trying to convey. So it's good to hear that you found the same experience a lot of us did, which is moving into a real project. You get, wow, I didn't think it was going to be that hard in some areas.
Yeah, definitely.
And that much fun in some areas too, for that matter.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, I've actually had like 5 years experience as a systems engineer. So, I know that the big gap between academia and actual implementation is huge. It takes a few years really to get used to, how what you learn in college may not always be applied all the time. And if you don't use it, you forget it at times. But it definitely helps a lot, though, once you get into the workforce or doing a project, it's a new learning experience overall. Oh,
great, good. Well, there's your testimonial, Sam. Hope you captured it.
Well, it's recorded, so we can play that obviously with Joe's permission.
No problem.
No, it's great stuff. Yeah, very, very valuable input. It's very interesting to hear you've got that, that background and then with the school and so on. It's fantastic. I was just going to say, Pat, from what you were saying, I just made this small change to the button here.
Oh, that helps a little bit. Yeah.
Would that be
the right direction?
Would we say that's a step in the right direction?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think, and something that we can, quickly get out today. It's, I always this thing. You run into like the marketing team saying this, that, and then you'll do all the other things. We could probably take this step without treading on anybody's toes, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We'll expand that to 3 paragraphs later and piss everybody
Yeah.
off.
Absolutely.
That's
We'll find that happy middle ground, which I think is like, it's like 2 sentences and, in the right. I mean, I'm still, liking aspects of what we see on Stripe's site, where they've got that, let's go here, where they've got that kind of little description of what's going on. What I noticed particularly about this though is about they've got, kind of space around it, and the font size to kind of, at least for me, when I look at this, I'm not kind of overwhelmed by text. I think some people are kind of intimidated by, or just it's kind of like, am I just making it up here? It's like, when you buy the hardback books, right, and the big ones, they have lots of space around the edge. That's the more luxurious experience, isn't it? When you've got more white space around the edge, or in this case, blue space.
It's modern design. Yeah,
indeed,
absolutely.
Indeed. Good stuff.
I just wonder about their color combinations on there. So it does not work for me. But
no. I mean, and actually, I've said this before. Like, if we can do the Wayback Machine, I actually really
highly readable. It's highly readable.
Well, I think the color contrast is perfectly fine there, as you say, Michael. But the thing I really I liked was the how they had it before, which I thought they've moved to this kind of pastel color scheme, which I'm not, and it sounds like Pat is not.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. They had previously, I don't know if I can get to it for the previous Stripe thing, they used to have kind of like a Jumbotron display, which is like a standard Bootstrap thing, which is obviously considered uncool now, so I'm sure they paid an absolute fortune to move away from that. But in terms of communicating what the site was about, I feel like the previous Stripe site, I wonder if we can see it, maybe from 2015, was the one that was kind of, I seem to be too slow to show you now, we should probably just go on. But the previous thing, it had a little bit of text, but it had like an image of a phone with a Visa payment thing in, which I thought conveyed much more clearly what it did. Anyway, apologies. I should probably let everybody go. This Wayback Machine is
slow to death.
Yeah, it's always quite slow. I think the
way slow machine.
The way slow machine. Yeah. All right. Oh, great. Thanks for your input, Joe. Lovely to meet you, and best of luck with the project. Do reach out if there's anything we can do to help.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Joe.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now. Michael, I guess I'll see you in the website 1 kickoff.
Yeah, it's 4 hours from now, right?
Yeah, just under.
All right, bye.
All right. Thanks, Pat.